Right. So, where's Norman? I didn't look at him. I didn't look at him purposely. But anyway, this is the last session, and I need to refer back to what Norman said. Norman said that it's very challenging because it's a Friday afternoon. I think I said it right. It's even more challenging for me because it's late Friday afternoon. So, first of all, for those that you persevere until now, I believe you are as generous as you are resilient. You're actually more generous than you are resilient. So thanks for being so generous to us, making sure that we too still get motivated for this last session. Now, the purpose of this, in fact, we didn't actually want to do this. Honestly, we tried last year, and I thought it's not going so well, so I wanted to scrap this and let Stephen do the final remarks. And then my board of directors heavily rebuked and said, I must come up here. And I believe that they have a purpose. So first of all, I think we need to perhaps take this like 10, 15 minutes to tell you what we have learned. In fact, we're all here for sharing and learning. I believe that we all learn a lot today. For example, I learned that I'm a computer scientist by training. So I think I went in the wrong profession. Now I know how much valuation Yet's company worth and how young he is. So it's a good learning process. But we do all this learning because we learn from you. So first thing I want to tell you is that we do treasure feedbacks. So no matter what you do before you forget this event, do give us feedback. The reason I say this is because last year, we had some very constructive feedbacks on gender. There was discussion about the composition of the panels, there was discussion about discussions, contents. So we thought, how do we handle this in a constructive way? So we just decided that rather than to try to explain, why do we make a panel to address that? And we not just do it by addressing gender, we actually do it by addressing D&I. So this is how we intend to address this kind of thing. And we hope that by giving us feedback, you're going to help us to make next year's same event even better. Now, Stephen, I know that you've got a lot of feedback already. Can I ask you what kind of feedback you get?
Okay, if you talk about feedback, I still remember last year when I went down to welcome CE John to come up to here to speak. And the first question he asked me on the way is that, Stephen, you talk about Asia Insurance Forum. Can I ask you how many foreign guests attended? And I said, scratching my head, I said, sorry, John, and because of these travel restrictions, I've only had a handful in person, but the majority of them actually joining by web. So this time when I talked to Clement, I said, we have to make an effort to make sure that we have a lot more foreign guests coming into this forum. And I think, in fact, we have quite a lot of them, not just because of Open Up, but I think people really want to connect with us and know what's going on. And therefore, we have a lot of guests, including Jonathan's comes all the way to join us today. So it's very thankful for the team to have you here. And so that's one thing that we did. And the other thing that the feedback that I had is people are saying that it's really difficult to get a tickets here because it's by invitation, okay? And you see this morning is very packed, and therefore I said to Clement, we need to find ways to increase the capacity of this room or even find a bigger room. But I think also we need to think about, as what Clement said, the feedback as how the program will look like. And also we're thankful to all of you joining the whole day. I know it's Friday, but you're still around, as we are very grateful and also meaningful. The last count, the team told me that we have today about 400 guests in person here, and still about, even at 3:30, there's still 1,300 people on the web listening to this forum. Not sure whether because of CPE, but
they're not allowed to switch off, I think.
But anyway, very thankful for all the people who's been staying with us the whole day. So thank you. Maybe Clement, I ask you to take this opportunity to explain to us what you have done. I mean, what the AIF done over 2023.
Well, first of all, bigger venue. That's what we're going to do. He was talking to me at the Gens, so I remember very clearly because I can't go because he was still talking. Anyway, bigger venue, but one thing for sure, we need to think about how to keep all you guys interested, because a bigger venue also means that bigger potential for people to turn around. So we promise you we're going to go back and think about it. We're going to let more people to come in, but we're going to got to make the event engaging. So we do not want people to just attend part of it, and we do not want people just to attend because of CPD. Now, to be honest, I was thinking about the answer to Stephen's question. You know why he asked this? He asked this for purpose. My pay package has 25% of variable element. The board is going to discuss that, I think, next week.
Next week.
So I think he's having this open occasion to get me to start to explain. And I think that my quality of answer is going to explain how much money I'm going to get next week. So I got to be very, very careful. But anyway, I'm lucky that people like Jonathan and my colleagues at the MWG is here. First, just say a couple of things. First, we've got a monumental achievement in terms of getting the risk-based capital legislation passed. That means that we will have the legal framework on which we can be on track to introducing this regime in hopefully fourth quarter next year. We still have to do the subsidiary legislation, meaning the rules and regulations, but at least the framework is there. There will be no hiccup because we do not need any more substantial parliamentary discussions on this. So that's one thing. Second, we took the opportunity through Winnie and his good work. We perfectionalized or refined our group-wide supervision framework. Jonathan, you know that out of the 3 IIGs, 2 have now a CMG, a crisis management group. And I also promised Jonathan that within 2024, we'll try to deliver Don't, you got to look at me, don't look on the ground, we got to have a resolution arrangement worked out, which in fact Jonathan alluded to in his speech, which is something that we are still short of. So we will have that in 2024, but we've got the CMG in, so we've got the group-wide supervisory framework a little bit more, shall I say, complete. And again, Jonathan mentioned about the TJA, the target jurisdiction assessment. We felt that that's going to be something that we won't survive. In the end, we got through. We still have some short sticks that we need to manage, but as Jonathan pointed out, we will be reviewed, and we are on track to addressing that. And of course, we've got Michael Bennett saying that we got again a very big milestone in our cat bond issuance. We got the biggest sovereign-sponsored cat bond issued by the World Bank last year and listed in Hong Kong. And we believe that there's going to be more to come, and we'll be helping people who really deserve help. Those are the least developed countries, and they are no different from us. They suffer from the same kind of perils. So that is something which we did. And finally, Stephen, you mentioned in your speech that we've got this breakthrough in terms of the unilateral recognition policy. Now we have a policy that covers 3 jurisdictions, including Macau, and that is supposed to be an opener so that we can develop other kind of projects that run through 11 cities in 3 jurisdictions with 1 coverage. Those are all the things that I think deserve at least getting half the available pay. The other half is really on goodwill. So that's my answer. But you always talk back. You see, you don't just let people go away with questioning you. So we do all this because the board gives KPIs. So my question to you is that what's going to be next year?
Okay. Not having decided your KPI until next week, then let's look forward now. I think, first of all, we have a very good board. I mean, our board's comprised of very intellectual people from the whole of Hong Kong societies. And this group of people work very close together for the benefit of the insurance authority. As you know, our mission is not just as a regulator. We also have to sort of promote the insurance industry and make sure there's a sustainable development in the industry. So I think, first of all, the key things, I believe, is the retention of talent in the insurance authority, to train them, develop them. And we have, for all the various reasons, we have a very high loss ratio of people over the last 2 years. I think we're stabilized now. We have to do a lot of things to attract people to come in, to retain them. And I think that's one key KPIs that we will work together with you. I mean, the board will sort of facilitate that with a lot of development budget, a lot of training budget, and all sorts of things, initiative that you could think of that will help us to achieve it. The second thing is about the after-sales service center. I think we talked about a lot in that in the past. Bit of this year when we went to see the NFRA, it's really clear from them that this has now been approved from their purpose. They've now moved to State Council. I also understand that the last mile is always the most difficult. So they've been very busy on the State Council for the second half of this year for various things that you see in the press. I'm hopeful that next year's is the thing which we can make it happen. Okay, and the Minister Lee I was told he's coming in January, and hopefully we can sort of see him and try to convey the message that really want to make sure that it's something which is not just for us, it's really for a lot of the Hong Kong people who are residing in the GBA really need that kind of service. The second thing is the changing of the way that we do things, because we have focused a lot on licensing. We take on all the licensing abilities and vetting loads of agents in the insurance sectors. But now we're looking more on the conduct. You hear and heard a lot of complaints of different conduct issues. Although we're not dealing with all these complaints, there's a separate complaints board to deal with complaints, but we will look at it in a different angle. The conduct issues in terms of the agencies, in terms of the insurance company, how they deal with it, on the claims issues, is that a cultural issues, is it processing issues? So these are things which I think we as regulators need to help to improve the whole conduct issues in the industries. And also the next thing is the related issues enforcement. You hear every now and then there's some enforcements coming up, but most of these cases are actually before the establishment of insurance authority. And this have almost gone, as I understand. We're now taking on a lot more complaints or enforcement which is fall upon us after establishment. So this will be a lot more cases coming up, but I think it's important that we get it right. And the next topic is about what John Lee, CEO, Chief Executive, raised about this morning, is re-domicile of some of insurers. As you know, in Hong Kong, we have 3 big insurance domicile in here, AIA, Prudentials, and FWD. But I think we have a lot of potential to attract other companies to move to here, okay? Or some of the insurance company in China to move their international business headquarters in Hong Kong. This is what we, Hong Kong, as being the super connectors and super value added. So to help them to move the part that is valuable and what we can add values on this. Finally, we talk about the cat bonds, IOS, and the captive insurance. These are the ecosystems that we need to establish, not just the insurance company itself, the other rating agencies, the bankers, and even exchange that we talked about this morning to move its big ecosystem to establish a very versatile IRS and captive insurance business. So this is the target for next year's, Clement. And I understand that you've done a lot this year, and the establishment in Insurance Authority is 1 CE and 4 executive directors, okay? But throughout 2023, in most cases, you have only 1 CE and no executive directors. But then you've got only 1 pay package and 1 VP, okay? You're not getting 5.
Yeah.
So how you cope with it? So what's your plan for next year?
You see, now you know that in our board, VP means very productive. So, Jonathan, I'm not asking you to do the same in the secretariat, but in fact, all the people who are occupying VP positions, including myself in the insurance authority, are double headers now. Everybody's doing 2 jobs. We don't like it, we don't want it, but remember Professor Paul Yip talk about demographics. He said we age in 25 years what France aged in 100. In the insurance authority, 3 years. So we beat Hong Kong by a big margin. People who know my age, people who know the age that of the other executive directors who left recently, you'll know that the aging problem is very acute. So we have only a window of 3 years to make sure that everything gets sorted out. So either you do it progressively or do it big bang. I'm the kind of person who felt that I might as well start with a big bang, which means that I might take a little bit more pressure. I might have some more people getting more work, but I have to narrow that window to the shortest. And therefore, I got a completely new phase, and I get that problem sorted out. And people can get more settled when the next change comes. So the answer is, as you know, Stephen, that the last departure was around June. I can happily report to you that we have been doing a very, very fast track recruitment process. And up to now, our estimate is that by the first quarter of 2024, we're going to have 3 of the 4 vacancies filled. Now, mark my words, I believe I will be accountable for it. I believe that I can do it. Now, the only other vacancy that we couldn't fill is because of the very same thing that Stephen said, is because we want the pivot from licensing into conduct and conduct into enforcement, and therefore we have to make sure that the remaining vacant posts will have to be redesignated, most likely towards enforcement. So that will have to come slightly later, by which time we'll have 3 out of the 4 positions filled. So this is what I wish to explain, and we have no more time, but I can tell you, we have some people from InsurTech Insight event 2 days ago when I did the presentation. Winnie, you were there, and we have some questions. We have 20-odd questions. I'm so unfortunate because Winnie has the iPad, and unfortunately they're showing the questions on screen and I can't see them. And then a couple of guys told me that there's so many nasty questions they didn't answer. So I said, which one is the nastiest? And they said, there's one question that said, you talk so much about all these changes you're going to make, but some of your staff are so bureaucratic and so unproactive. How are you going to do it? Are you going to make some changes? Okay, whoever was in there who thought I dodged that question, no, I said I'm going to answer the tough ones. So I can tell you, look, if you see the new appointments when it comes, you see that they are of a different age bracket, they will be filled with energy. And I believe that although I'm in a slightly different age bracket, I do have some energy left. So it's really something that have to come from the top. If the message doesn't come to the top, if the senior management doesn't walk the talk, it's all going to be empty promises. So what we will promise the board is that once that new team is in, we'll make sure that we use the rest of that window, and we're going to make sure that that value, that culture will permeate through the rest of the organization. So with that, I hand over back to the chairman. I wish the board will be more sympathetic when my case comes up next week.
Right. We'll talk about the plan. When I joined the insurance authority back in 2015, I think the first or main target was to make sure we have the financial viability, as you know. Because I told Moses, and then when he arrived, that it's not viable. Okay, the whole business model is crap for various reasons. I think we almost fix it. So when I became the chairman, the next thing is the succession plan. We have a long discussion on succession plan, not only your level, the next level, and the next level. I think this is the other thing which I'm very sort of focused on, because I think it's important. That's why the talent is the first agenda that I respond to you. So once again, thank you very much for your time spent with us. But I still have one more questions for Clement. Clement, today is the 9th or 10th?
8th.
8th. So we have another 20 days left behind for this year. So what else you need to do for the remaining 20 days?
20 days? I thought we have
for 2023.
it's not on that slide. So I just want to make sure that we enjoy this festive seasons, and for those of you who come from far away, go back, enjoy with your family. One of our best time in the year.
There's one more answer.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's not on the slide.
Yeah.
John Lee said you need to vote on Sunday. Right? That's the last thing you need to do this year, right?
That's the reason why I have to leave politics 6 years ago. I believe I lost that sensitivity. Now, he is still out there. So in case you guys are looking for the next big guy.
No, I'm doing it in a not forceful way, a lighter way. So
no. Anyway, his message is very clear. It's just a matter of self-choice, of course. But it's something which I think is important because after a series of changes over the last couple of years, it's really a question of how we show confidence to the place where we call home. I know that there are different decisions, but really a question of expressing your support to Hong Kong itself.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us the whole day. Thank you.